What's going on, y'all?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
What's good? Man, this is another Breaking the Narrative podcast, BTN for short. I'm Tony.
I'm Mark Anthony.
Teddy.
And, man, today we got a doozy of a question that, oh, a lot of us are, like, we kind of been tiptoeing around the subject for many podcasts.
Have we though?
Yeah, I mean, we touch on it
Yeah, we
quite a
we
bit.
went into depth about it though.
But like we never really gave it its own like podcast. It's like its own entity.
Okay.
So the topic for today is are men's like or is men emotional or just mental health taken seriously in society today? Is it really just as cut and dry as people saying it is? Is it somewhat of a quote unquote pandemic? Like, are we really in a pandemic of men's emotional like instability because of like society being like treating us as though like we're robots, so we're somewhat emotionless creatures?
I believe that it is a lot more. Well, I don't know what it was like way back then. You know, like the 80s or 70s or whatever. But from the time that been here on Earth, I definitely do believe that it is valued more now. But to me, in my experiences, where I've actually started to notice that it's been mentioned outside of other males or whatever, it's because I've seen it coming from people that kind of initially talk about the people that they deal with specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, you want to embrace more of men's mental health. Like a wife wants to embrace more mental health because of her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So there's somebody specific that actually shows them like, hey, yeah, I care because I have a husband that I care about. There's generally a male that I have, or I have a son. So it takes for that to happen for them to really care. So it's like sometimes I kind of stand at the margin, like, do you really care because you actually genuinely care, or do you care because you have men in your life that you do not want to see these stigmas take over, type of thing? But regardless of that, though, like, because of that alone, I've seen the value grow a lot larger. And now I guess because more people are starting to talk about it, people want to take time to evaluate it more and like see what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
So I like, unfortunately, it's becoming a trend to do so, which it shouldn't be, because trends can come and go, but it shouldn't have just didn't need to be a popularity contest for it to be spoken about. Because just as well as like we talk about the undergoings of what women will deal with, I believe men are obviously the same. We're all same as people. You know what I'm saying? Like we all play a role. We all have something beautiful about us that needs to be cared for.
Mm-hmm.
But to simply just answer your question, yes, I do believe that it's happening a whole lot more than it was back then, many years ago.
Okay. So what you're saying is like you do believe that it's actually like not taken seriously.
It's being taken a little more seriously now.
Okay.
Now, do I believe it's being taken as seriously as we could hope for? Not really. Because, like I said, if that's the case, like, it wouldn't have taken for, it wouldn't have taken for a woman to have a husband, a wife, or a brother, whatever, to see that. It's just like, it would have been to me, it would have been a process like, oh, that's a person, they go through something too, and all this other stuff, and just recognizing, everything, regardless of being closer to somebody of the opposite sex, to realize that they have something that needs to be valued as well.
Okay. That's understandable. So, Abe, how do you feel about it, bro?
Kind of the same way. Like, I feel like it is a spotlight on it. I think that what we're seeing from the spotlight being on it is that men, like you said earlier, they're expected to just carry themselves a certain way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're seeing, like, and how you said, like, it's become a trend. It did become a trend, but it's like now you're seeing, like, men not scared to speak up on it, as like 10 years ago, if you was to say something about mental health, or you'd be soft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or nah, because growing up, we've kind of, when you think back on it, remember when we did the emotional incest,
Yeah.
and we was like, we didn't even know it was a thing, but then once you find out it's a thing, like, yo, this has always been happening. It's kind of like the same thing here. It's like once other dudes start talking about, well, it's like, damn, they just want you to be a robot. You gotta do this and do that, and then you start thinking back on it. It's like, yo, ever since I've been a kid, that has been like the mechanism that they give you. Like, yo, you gonna be a man. You gotta be able to be tough. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't do this. Oh, men don't cry. And, it's just like it's a bunch of little things that you just keep piling up and piling up and piling up, and it's like, okay, well, no wonder niggas is like this.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no outlets.
Not a single one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and with things like that, like kind of like touching on one of the previous podcasts we talked about, just not having that role model figure.
Right.
If you do something like that, where you just basically bottling it in, trying to act like you really don't feel these things, if you don't have like a proper male figure around to teach you how to manage that,
Right.
you growing up, you gonna become there's a higher chance of you becoming a problem.
Right.
You're gonna be like super aggressive. You don't want to fucking deal with people. It's just gonna be some fucked up shit about you.
Right. And then people, it's gonna overflow eventually, and then whatever your mind dictates you to do at that point, it's like that's normally what happens. You know what I'm saying?
It could definitely set you up for failure, bro.
Yeah. So I feel like it's progress that is more. It's becoming normalized to speak on it. Now I feel like the next step is like we got to figure out like what to do in the sense of protecting like the next generations to make sure that they understand like how serious of a thing that this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how it's like everything will run better, I feel like, if everybody's just better mentally. But because you got men who's expected to shoulder so many loads in life, you know what I mean? You gotta protect, you gotta provide, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And it's like who's left to turn to when you need help?
Yeah, that's a that's a tough thing to actually think about because a lot of people don't have that.
Right. And you're taught not to have that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you got to be the provider. You got to protect. You got to do this. This is your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was like a picture a few years ago, and it was like a symbolism emerged, and at the very top of the picture, it was like God. God was like the sky, and then under the sky was an umbrella, and the umbrella was the husband.
Mm-hmm.
And under the umbrella, it was the wife and kids. So basically, I guess the symbolism of the picture was like he's the protector of the wife and kids. But the only thing above him is God. Being as though the kids have the mother, then they got the father, and then they got God. The wife, she has the husband, and then she has God. But it's like he don't got nothing else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because unless you going down.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost seems like it's constructed with a flaw.
Yeah, we're living like our relationships on a tier system.
Right.
which I believe that's a lot of bull for real. Now I do see that nowadays, like mentioned before, women are not talking about for things for their husbands. Which, if you genuinely do feel that way, congratulations and awesome and kudos to you for sure. And that's real because for those who finally realize and recognize that, it's just like, yeah, I may have my bad days, but he has his bad days too.
Right.
And sometimes my day might be just as worse, if not more, or mine's, or it could be less. So I don't know what he's out there dealing with. And on top of that, like, really don't want to bring race into it because all males go through things, but especially as black males, just for like the simple things that shouldn't really exist,
Yeah, just
or that are not necessary to exist, makes it almost double as hard just as being a male in general.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, you don't know what it is you got to deal with. We got to go out there and deal with the world. And see, the thing is, especially when it comes to the whole provider aspect, is like, we're just doing this to provide for our family. So it's just like, when I come home, I will hope that I have a nurturing wife at home to totally understand that. That's why, like, I used to laugh at how they used to portray this on TV when the husband comes at home and the wife is like, "How was your day, honey?" And he's just
Right.
like, "I don't want to." Not like, fuck all that. Like, you know what? I'm glad you asked. Yeah, this happened and such and so on. And just like how you want to be heard, I would like to be heard too, or
Right.
whatever. Or it would just be like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. If you want to talk about it, I'm ready. But this is set up for you. You had a long day, and maybe here's a nice warm bath or something like that ready for you. Because I do that even for my wife as well.
Right.
Like, just how, like, I would have something ready for you because I know possibly you just went through something. You were dealing with the kids all day or whatever. I got your back. I'm going to try to do at least something. Every little thing I want to pile up to help
Right.
you out. So, and that's what I would hope that you would care to do for me. Or just like, you know what, like, I got you.
Hopefully the marriage is like structured in a positive way.
Yeah, because like, and that's what you're married for. You want to have just that somebody.
Right.
That's your backup. That's your ride or die. That's your partner. That's your teammate. So like, that you're now not only just having the role of a wife, you're literally having the role of the one, that
Right.
somebody.
Right.
So it's just like, I'm here to support, to help you unwind your mind and all this other stuff, because it's just like, it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
We can't. Sometimes there's just days where we just like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to the gym, or I'm gonna just watch TV, and I'm gonna just wait till it fades away. It don't. Like, you would think it'll fade away
Right.
until it happens again the next day, and it's just refreshed, and then you'll become that, and that's just a whole totally different issue at that point. So, like, honestly, it's I think that umbrella picture,
Mm-hmm.
literally, if anybody's going to be the umbrella, God would have to be the umbrella.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the whole family's underneath it. So,
Yeah.
that would, in an ideal world, that would be the case. However, in society as we see it today, men are they're put as that umbrella. We are the wall to protect them from everything. But the walls get cracked, the walls get chipped. But what happens once the wall crumbles and you don't know how to put it back together?
exactly. That's why you need more than, to me, I would believe you need more than one person to be an architect to build a house.
That,
Exactly.
It's
You would just have to structure your marriage like, it's a never ending debate about the whole splitting the bills 50-50 and
Yeah, we go through that consistently. We had a whole podcast about it.
right. And it's like on social media, it's just like nonstop. You see people talk about it at least once a week. You know what I'm saying?
So much.
And it's like, you get it. It's people out here that they don't want to split the bills 50-50. They feel like the guy should provide everything.
Yeah.
But what I feel like the problem is like, it's so many females adopting that mindset now. And logically, thinking logically, that's just not feasible.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds like a very dumb conversation to have. I don't even understand how people are still having these conversations about splitting the bill or whatever.
It's because of the older,
I
the
get
older
it.
generation
I get it.
that started it.
I get it with the courtship and all that. You know what I'm saying? And of course, there's also the balance that I think back then they used that as a gauge or meter to determine how much respect a man has for a woman. Because most people would say that a man is not going to respect nothing unless they're really investing in it.
Yeah.
So the more that you invest to it, the more you're going to want to respect it, the more you're going to treasure it. But again, like, there's people who don't even treasure the, being invested in.
No, not at all.
Like, they're not grateful for it. And so that's where it becomes a problem and an issue. Like, the whole splitting the bill thing, all right, sure, that's cool. Or the male buying it, like, hey, if the conversation is like this, hey, I want to take you out on a date. I mean, of course, it could be very easy and more acceptable to assume, like, hey, you say you invited me out on a date, so I'm assuming that it's your treat. But if you're kind of like, hey, I want to go out and such like that, and y'all make plans to it, then of course there's like a chance of a 50-50 process happening.
Right.
But that whole, well, I always got to get wined and dined, and there's always the male that's going to pay for it. Okay.
That's a real flag.
I'm like,
It is, definitely.
I'm paying for the time. I'm paying for the outings. Chances is I'm paying for the groceries that you get to pick. That goes into the house, and you cook, or whatever. Or sometimes there's males out there that will even cook it themselves. So, like, there's certain things that you don't want to do, but at the same time, it's like we have to be a providence for it. So, if you want to break the stigma of what it is that women should do, it's kind of the same for men. Not saying that men don't have to provide and all that, because we do have that instinct within us.
Right. Yeah,
when it comes
naturally.
when it comes to the protecting the house, we're going to war.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're not coming between me and my wife and my kids. It's go time.
Shit, even with just family, we're
just
naturally
like
protected.
Right.
Yeah, and just the household, the home front itself, like it's like not trying to be funny, but we have like a dog instinct. This is my dog house. This is my yard, and you can't walk in it.
Right.
Like, who are you?
Because it happens even between us three. Because remember, even off air, we're having a conversation and shit. Like I mentioned, like how protective I am of the both of y'all.
Mm-hmm. Like,
So
it's just natural instinct. So we got that, yes. And then sometimes when it comes to the hardyship of things, it's just in us. But that's just natural activity. And sometimes I guess they'll go ahead and decide to make our natural activity a job. And then it's like, okay, so there's a higher expectancy for it.
Right.
So now, suppose if, for example, if a man had to go out to hunt, at first we were just doing it for fun. Oh, I like to fish. I don't care how many fish I catch, but I like to fish. Now it's like, I expect you to bring food home because we got to eat. Now I have to catch as many fish as possible. But if I only catch 2, it's devastating.
Right.
Because now the family that I'm protective over, they can't eat. I'm not providing for them. And now that's going to break me because, one, I'm failing them and I'm failing myself. And of course, that there kind of does something to you because automatically you're going to think or feel I'm less of a man because I can't provide for my family.
Right.
Now, for those families who sit here and say, well, we can't eat because of this and this and this and this and this. And there's times like if I hear stuff like that, I'm like, well, all right, well, why don't you go out and do it?
Yeah.
But I do know there are some families where you're like, you know what, it's okay. We'll make something happen, and shout outs to especially the women or partners that do that.
Right.
Like, you
Yeah,
know what, it's all
love
right.
them.
We got something. We'll make it work.
Yeah,
Right.
we love y'all. We love y'all.
But the ones is just like, well, damn man, we ain't got this and this and this. Like, what are we gonna do? I mean, I understand panic, is a natural thing, but don't belittle the person because they did not succeed to your expectations.
Which is a lot of what goes on though.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
it's
no
just like,
I have no problem in like people wanting what they want. But that's normally what comes with it though. Like the belittling. They'll look for one thing and then belittle the person that doesn't do that one. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like their idea is the end all be all.
right.
and that's where the real problem kicks in. Because it's like, all right, cool. Well, we already had to deal with the world, whatever the world threw at us, the roll of the dice.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to come back home, which is supposed to be our safe haven.
Right.
Now it's just like, now I got to deal with that tax because now I'm disappointing you.
Right.
And you're just verbally like vocalizing all of this, just like boom, 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 boom. Now I got to take beatings, not, from my family, who I'm supposed to feel safe with.
Right.
The ones who I'm actually out there breaking my back for,
Right.
thinking they'll love me regardless. This don't feel like love though.
Yeah, and it's crazy that even your own family will play a part in it. But just fall off.
Yeah, that's the ultimate betrayal right there.
Fall off and see like how people mentalities change.
Yeah,
The way like people talk to you. The way
yeah,
the way
Yeah,
like
people will down you in a fucking heartbeat, bro.
yeah.
Cause this is a definite situation as to why men's mental health doesn't mean shit to most, and like the prior generation takes full advantage of it. You already know I don't have too much of a relationship with my biological father, so his way of always getting back, well, trying to motivate me in a way, was always letting me know that I'm not doing what I should be doing as a man, even though I didn't have a man to tell me what I should be doing. So he'd belittle me for letting me down completely in life. So he had no sense of believing that he played a part in my lack of manliness, or what he believed was manliness. Is like, go out, get a job, 9 to 5, provide for the family, all that shit. It was just the basic template of what you deal with in any type of relationship or anything like that.
And even
So-
nowadays, the basic 9
And
to
it-
5, for not
Yeah.
putting out people who do it, but there's so much more beyond that.
Yeah,
That's a man.
that was his biggest way of just trying to motivate me, is to tell me that I'm not shit consistently. And even though he played a very huge part in the fact that I am the way that I am, well, the way that I was. And I actually quoted this in a poem. I almost lost myself trying to be, well, not trying to be myself, but to not be like you. Which is a very deep portion. Like, a lot of men happen to go through shit like that because we lose sight of what we are because we're trying not to be the person that wronged us. And a lot of people don't really look at that as like a very serious situation, but it is.
Mhm.
Because there are a lot of people who lost themselves just trying not to be somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as though it's not, like, we don't shine much of a light on as far as like men having to deal with that, because we don't necessarily have the room to talk about shit. And I actually mentioned this like a while ago, and I realized that the Kobe death was one of the only moments in this generation's this generation's history that black men were allowed to be vulnerable and accepted of it. Like, people were literally crying on the sidelines and shit, and people were just accepting of it. But after that, you remember when the nigga Dwight Howard cried on the sidelines and niggas started calling him soft?
Yeah.
What the fuck was the sympathy then? Like, 'cause I remember, like, I heard this shit mentioned from, I don't know if you saw the little shit where, I think it was Ryan Clark and they was doing a little. I think it was like a podcast or like a little interview or some shit. And the nigga Michael Beasley was on the shit, and he was.
Yeah.
Yo, I saw that shit, and I was distraught.
Yeah, and a lot of what he said, like because I watch basketball so much, like a lot of what he said, it was like bringing up memories. Because I remember when like Allen Iverson was going through his stuff, and it's like, and I be feeling even more sorry for people of that kind of stature, because Allen Iverson was like an icon.
Yeah,
And it's like when you look at somebody as an icon, you just want to see them as this perfectionate being.
Yep.
And anytime something like happens, you don't even like look at the situation, the person as a human being.
Nope.
It just looks like, damn, your God is human after all. And that's what like he went through. Like he went from being an icon to, oh damn, AI done fell off. You know what I'm saying?
That's usually the that's the go-to saying. Like
He fell off. Yeah. And it's like that's it's real crazy. But I've always like kept tabs in my mind about the way that dudes show like emotions over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always found it interesting. Like, damn, everybody gets depressed. So why you not allowed to show it?
Yeah.
Like why is it like why do you get backlash for coming out and being like, yo, I'm fucked up mentally, I'm not right?
Yeah.
How are you soft?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I always found it interesting. Like nothing, because it wasn't like trendy to talk about like it is now. You never really had like those conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you always see it.
Because nobody understood it or went through it. For those who say shit like that, they haven't undergone it. Like, well, they undergo such things, because saying undergone just sounds weird. But like it that there kind of remind me of something that I thought of like a couple nights ago. Is like people will downplay a lot of things until it's really convenient for them when it's happening to them, and it's conveniently to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like he said a few minutes ago, it's like they'll go the other route where it's like, yeah, I'll use this on him to make me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
it happens.
yeah, like he said, especially with the older generation, because that is the whole. I never understood the whole trying to motivate you with negativity. I never understood that tactic. Maybe that's something that was passed down through the slave generations or something. But I never understood, like,
I don't either, because it's like, do you not see yourself right now? Like, do you not see how you are right now? Like, do you not pay attention, like, how stressed out or distraught you could be right now? Like, do you not pay attention to your own feelings? Are you really happy?
right.
Because now you're trying to put that on to somebody else. Like, obviously you haven't gotten over it.
Right. Because if you happy and you trying to make somebody else happy, why would you bring in negativity? Like when I first met you and you were going through a situation, like I didn't meet that with more negativity. You already got that.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Plus, that would have just made situations worse, man, because you definitely would have got some fight back for it. Like,
he's already going through that. Why would I bring more? What is that?
Which obviously isn't working.
Yeah. Like, damn, bro, I ain't ate in 3 days. Why am I kidnap you and starve you? Like, you already not eating. You know what I'm saying? Like it's interesting, man. Like, I don't know. But then again, I could look at it, and what's y'all opinion on this? I could look at it and say, like, maybe nobody never taught them.
Yeah, I look at it like that.
And that's just them.
Nah, like my dad never had a good relationship with his father.
Right. And
So-
I'm like, maybe that's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a generational curse that now they gotta pass that down to me, and like I have to have a problem with him. At this point, I don't have a problem with him. I just don't want to be around him.
But that's like I said before, like, do you not pay attention to yourself? Like, what you went through,
Well, a lot of people don't.
like, do you not recognize that anymore? Like, do you not see that anymore? Does that, or like, are you so numb to it that you just like, well,
a lot of people just aren't. You're just not accountable.
Yeah.
and that's like kind of like playing into what you were saying before. You were so busy, like trying not to be who you said you didn't want to be, and you almost lost yourself in it because you're too busy focusing on that person. You're still focusing on them because that's like, yeah, I'm just looking straight forward. My tunnel vision is the person I don't want to be. So I'm gonna keep paying attention to everything that he is that I do not want to pick up on. But you're still focusing on it, that you still become that because you're teaching yourself to only know just that.
So I'm gonna give y'all an example of what I meant when I said like I almost lost myself. So in this situation, like I remember like way back when I went to my father's like for the summer, and I'm pretty sure I'll let you know in on like the situation that happened around that time. But what happened? Well, he had mentioned to me is like no woman's gonna want to come home to a man that said, "Oh, I just got off the video game," or just a fat dude that just say, "Oh, I just got off the video game," or some shit like that. Like no woman's gonna want that. Like, are you serious? Like, I mean, I'm at the house. I didn't go out and cheat on her. I didn't do nothing of that nature. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not making money. Like that was his end all be all. Nobody's gonna love you if you're doing these things. And what I did was I was like, okay, so I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna just continue to play video games. I'm gonna continue to be fat. I'm just gonna continue to just be that. Because at that point, when I was at his house, he was working me out, as in like making me work out consistently, not for the fact that he wanted me to be healthy, just because he didn't like the idea of having a fat son. So the idea behind that was just like, I am going to continue to be this big because that's what you don't want. And like in the end, I ended up just getting somewhat bigger than I was, but at the same time, it's just like I could have been healthier. I could have been better. I just chose not to prove you wrong. And at the end of the day, when I could probably get women now. Well, I know I can, but I'm not gonna use like his words as like fuel, because that's not fuel. That's that's technically just me being a fool for the things that he believed I should be doing. So I'm no longer lost in the sauce, so to speak. It's a healing process, and it took me years to get over that. Like all the things he told me I could never do because of that's not what a man does and all that shit. Like throw that to the wayside. It's not important. Like his words are not more important than what I need to be right now. And just learning from experience, like I mean, stuff like that happens to people, and normally they don't have outlets. I didn't have outlets. I had to teach myself. So, but a lot of people aren't as level-headed. So I could have easily been one of them niggas that was just like on the street killing niggas for no reason. Could have easily been that. Honestly, I could have, like really could have. I was Mark at one point. Like there was many a times I went to work at Target and shit early in the morning saying, well, with that I wish a nigga would mentality.
Oh, everybody.
Because the thing is, I had ideas in my head. Like if it was anybody that tested me while I was walking to work, they ain't living. No matter how small it was, they could have just been coming up to me like, "Oh, yeah, I don't like your face." They're dead. I'm sorry. That's just how I looked at it. I didn't have that. I had that for so long. But the issue was, I just hated everything because I hated him. That was it. And I didn't talk to anybody about it. It was just like people knew, but it was never okay, I'm going to sit down, we're going to have a conversation, and then eventually we're going to try and heal from it. No, it was always, yeah, it happened. Get over it. That was it. That was the bulk of it.
Which I also think is fucked up too. That whole
Get over it.
Yeah, that let it go thing. There's no fucking such thing. There isn't. And I'm living true for that. Like, so with my experiences, I've been told this numerous of times that it was just get over it, let it go, such and such. And
I
see,
mean, there's such
and,
thing as letting it go, though. There
I
is
mean,
such thing.
to a degree, but literally just letting it go, like forget about it, let it pass, and all this. There's things that occurred in my life where I literally was just like, I was hell bent on it, emotional, hysterical, and I'm like, to a point where it was just like I thought I was a hellhound to certain shit, and I was just like, I don't know why I can't stop. And the thing is, it was me and my spirit was just like, bro, like you can't keep just letting certain things pass without certain things being justified or explained or dealt with or talked out. And sometimes there's a certain time or a certain degree where even talking it out doesn't help anymore. But that's because you let it go on too far. But the whole let it go shit, no, bro, because all you're doing is you're pinning it up, and it's going to that experience is going to replay itself with somebody new.
Right.
And it's going to happen over and over and over, and that's going to become a trauma. Things left unresolved are going to fucking grow.
Right.
And then it's going to become mentally you to a point where it's just like, suppose if that trigger doesn't happen, or, well, no, if that experience doesn't happen, but there's something that kind of reminds you of it, a slight trigger, nobody's around, it could bother you. It becomes a traumatic experience where it just seeps into you mentally, and that's just naturally how you think. Now it's an issue because you just let it fester and linger for so damn long. Yes, there are some things that you can kind of let slide or whatever, or just let it, it'll pass. But there's things that you really have to fucking address.
Yeah.
Well,
And you have to speak about
no,
it too.
no. When I mention the word, like when I say let it go, I'm not saying like ignore it. No, not ignore it. I'm talking about let it go as in get past it. Like make sure that you are taking the necessary steps in order for you to heal from it. That's what I mean when I say let it go. Like it's healing. Because when you deal with traumatic experiences, in order for you to actually well, not even necessarily get rid of it, but to gain somewhat of a foothold on your own life, is to gain a certain level of peace with what has already transpired.
Honestly, I think at certain times, there is a degree where it can become unhealthy, but there's times like really, I think you just gotta hurt. Just accept the hurt. Accept that you're hurt. One of the smartest things I heard was from a fucking movie, and the movie Southpaw. When dude was telling the boxer, because the boxer had got separated from his daughter because that was the only form of family she had left, but because he was living an unfitting lifestyle because of violence and all this other stuff, when he was a boxer, she got taken away from him. And she got mad. She was just like, I hate you, to a point where he was in jail or whatever. She was like, I hate you, and just started slapping the fuck out of him. And so the boxing coach was just like, look, I understand you want to be in her life, you want to bring a better life for her, and you still want to be her father and everything like this. But right now, you just got to let her hate you. Just let her hate you. Let her embrace the fact that right now she's hurt, she's bothered and all that. Because if you try to accelerate that at your own pace, she's not going to fucking heal. So there are times you really just got to accept, like, yo, I'm hurt. Now, of course, you have to make decisions of whether you're going to fester in it or keep taking those steps forward. Now, just because each and every day you go on, you realize, well, I'm hurt, doesn't mean that you're not taking a step forward. It's just a long-ass path of hurt to go through.
Yeah.
But there's certain things where you can realize whether you're making progress or not. So as far as just like, it's more than just finding peaceful shit, because sometimes you can find peaceful shit and you just masquerade things and you're just running away from the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Right.
I've done. Like, yeah, there's times I'm like, I'm having fun and such and such and such, but the very moment I'm not smiling and in that moment anymore, it comes back. And I'm like, damn, bro, I was just fucking running away from it. I'm trying to distract myself. And to a point, it even got to a point where I was telling my friends, man, I'm just trying to find a distraction. I've even heard my friends say, I'm trying to find a distraction. I'm like, nah, you don't want to.
Most people do, and that's what smoking and drinking and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff comes in there.
Yeah, you don't want a fucking distraction, bro. You want a healing. You want something you want a transition. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, you got to realize and embrace the fact that you hurt. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, there's times I go out, they be like, man, dog, you good? And they think I'm just being negative. No, I'm being real, but I'm embracing it and I'm accepting it. And I'm like, they'll be like, you all right? I'm like, I mean, I could be better. What's going on? Well, I'm feeling a little hurt. Not saying that things can't get better or I still can't enjoy my day. Just right now, I'm hurt.
Right.
There is something that actually does exist. Reality exists. But at the same time, like that's the mission, or the motivation to complete the mission. So, you know, just if you hurt, you hurt. Embrace it.
Yeah,
That's part of the process.
I mean, yes, that's completely understandable, and people heal within their own time. But like you said, you got to make sure, like, what do you plan on doing with this hurt? Are you going to exist in it, or are you just going to, like, are you going to move forward? Like, there's a difference between stagnation and progress, and I mentioned this shit to you. Like, stagnation is the last thing you want. Like, any type of, like, procrastination, like not trying to move forward with anything and just accepting the fact that you're that, and that's the end all be all. Because a lot of people go around just saying, well, that's just me. That's just me. No, that's to hurt you.
Well, also, I try to be careful about, I never really try to put time limits out on things. Some people take weeks. Some people take months. Some people take years. And see, the thing is, regardless of how similar the trauma may have been between you and I, or whatever the case may be, time is always going to be fucking different for everybody.
True.
So, and that's why I never really try to put a time limit for people. Because some people try to ask me, like, they've seen me go through things, and they're like, Mark, how long does this take? And I'll be like, to be honest with you, and to keep it 100 with you, I want to be here to support you for whatever, and I will be. But I'm not going to give you a time, because there is no time for that.
Yeah.
Like,
one of my toxic traits too, by the way.
Yeah, it's just like,
What?
I'll let him finish, but then I'll.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
you just don't. That it's almost an unrealistic goal. I mean, yeah, you can set a goal, but the realistic goal is, I want to find better coping mechanisms. That's a realistic goal. But like, oh yeah, I want to be over this within a year. That might not be true, and that's just gonna either bring more disappointment to you, or you're just gonna find yourself spiraling out of control, putting a whole bunch of stuff in your life that really is not helping you. You think it is, but it's not. Because once that stuff settles down, it's still there.
Right.
And you think, damn, I made all this progress. Where the fuck did this come? And it's just like a whole panicking situation for you, because you never really healed from it.
Right. And the longer you take to develop a healing mechanism, the harder it's going to be the older you get. Like, when people just keep smoking and smoking and smoking and smoking, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it's clouding, it's messing up the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you'd have been working on that, say, like 15 years ago, now you might be a savant at it.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of that, you started smoking 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're a savant at now.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever something goes wrong, your first instinct is, like, I'm surrounded by tons of them. First instinct, I got smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, bro, we can link up, but hold on, I got smoke.
Yeah, it's so many niggas.
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
The wake and bake niggas. Like, damn, could you even yawn first?
Yeah.
Facts.
Got to do it to go to bed.
Yeah.
Facts.
Got to do it to go to sleep.
I know some friends that they've received medical cards to smoke weed.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah, man, I got this because of my anxiety. But you smoking right now, back to back. We chilling. What are you having anxiety about? Like, are you thinking about life right now that you're not mentioning to me? Or but why is it that you got to smoke so excessively right now at this very moment? Because we chilling,
it's
you
probably,
laughing and all that. Like,
it's stress, definitely. But people don't even understand that the smoking plays a part in that. Because while it may calm you down initially, it also feeds into you having anxiety and paranoia. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because it's the same as the medicine.
I think it's a state of, like, the fact that they realize they're not in that state of mind or where they are when they get high and shit like that puts them in a panic.
That's what happens
So it's
when
just
you're
like,
an addict.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I mean,
basically.
yeah, and so that's how what I'm picking up from you saying that that's what causes an anxiety
Because
for it.
it's just like the medicine. If something goes wrong, the doctors will give you medicine. But the medicine will have like some crazy side effects that'll fuck something else up.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with smoking. Is besides naturally healing, there's nothing you can do to solve a problem as to where it's not going to cause something else to go wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because shit, the amount of money niggas spend on weed, they could have spent on therapy.
Yeah. And
That too, that's a whole nother conversation, bro.
yeah,
I hear
we can get into that too, because I feel like that's starting to be more accepting to talk about. And I've been
I just the fact that people just sitting there saying that they need money for something, and then I find out that they got weed, bro. I'm like,
and
so
then you can
need
even
gas
find
or you need to eat, but you got weed.
you can even find therapists like for free out here.
Yeah.
I done seen plenty of like YouTube videos. Yo, I'm a licensed therapist. You know what I'm saying? DM me on Instagram. No, free of charge. I'm just trying to help people be back. You know what I'm saying?
Son.
Like,
And like, yo, no bullshit. There's plenty of niggas or plenty of people that say, man, like to me personally, shit, I just enjoy talking to you.
facts.
It's so many people that just enjoy just talking about their feelings and their problems just to other people like that are relatable instead of using the therapist. Like, you don't even need a therapist nowadays. There's so many people out here that really know what they're talking about without a degree.
Yeah, but it's like people don't have that at all though.
Yeah.
So it's like because people
too.
don't, because we said that on a few podcasts. People don't even have friends.
Yeah, because we grow up in this area where this area they say, man, everybody out trying to get me and shit. There's no point in me even having friends. Like ain't nobody
Yeah.
friends out here. Like it's
Yeah.
that toxic behavior is the reason why you're fucked up now.
Right. And
Yeah,
I'm
that paranoid behavior, or because just like the experiences that they have with people, because there's a lot of people that just standoffish, and that's why I try to be the best person I can be out. in the
but
That's
it
not
also-
standoffish.
it
If
also-
you saying fuck everybody.
No,
it also
Not-
stems
not
from
to
the
that.
smoking though. Because the smoking feeds into the paranoia. Like that, like
Well, the whole smoking thing, but just like beyond smoking, like just having a very toxic behavior in general, and then they don't have no form of outlet, like they don't have friends or anything like that.
right.
But all right. So there's obviously several reasons why a person cannot have friends, because
Right.
the behavior that you have that you induced on yourself,
We did a whole podcast on it.
or
we did a whole.
Yeah, that I wasn't even here for.
Yeah, we did a whole
Or-
hour and 45-minute
There-
podcast about it.
now there is a mental trauma from the experiences that you had. So sometimes you'd be like, well, is there any point in trying anymore?
Yeah.
Because
No,
there are some, like I said, there's some experiences out there that do play a part in some
I'm
things.
about
Not
to say-
saying it happens to everybody, but
It's too many.
For some people.
It's too many to pick just one because it's like it could be. My mom never taught me how to get friends
Mhm.
from day one, and I never had them. Like it's too many reasons not to have friends, but we're just trying to throw out ideas for anybody in this situation. That's why I said therapy, because I'm like anybody can do therapy. Like you might have the paranoia to go out and try to find friends and vent to friends and stuff like that, which is probably why we see like a lot of people putting their shit on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And remember, we used to like clown people for that at first, and then after a while, you start to realize like, motherfuckers really don't got friends. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
Some of them, some.
yeah, because all right, we're not gonna mention the people that's doing it for attention.
Yeah,
We excluding them. You know what I'm saying? This is we're talking about the genuine people right
Yeah.
now. Yeah,
Because those
Obviously-
motherfuckers run rampant in the mental health community and shit.
yeah. Because what he said in the beginning, it's trendy,
Mm-hmm.
and
They know they can get away with it and shit.
you can get attention, you can benefit from it, you can make money from it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the bad side of the trendy thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like anybody that functions properly or semi-properly can do therapy,
Mm-hmm.
even if whether you got money or not. It's if all three of us sitting here right now, there's been plenty of things that we wanted and we didn't have money, but we found a way to make it work and get it right. Same thing can go to that. If you really want to do it, You'll find a way.
Yeah. It's like, bruh, it's ample opportunities. It's just that what does your drive look like?
Yeah. Oh shit. Google, YouTube. The way shit is now, you can hop on YouTube and you can teach yourself therapy.
Exactly, bruh. You know, niggas don't understand how easy it is to really diagnose some of the shit that's going on with yourself. Because technically, I mentioned this when I was talking to you know who. I mentioned this. I was like, I literally live my life in third person. I'm
Right.
constantly observing myself. I make sure that I'm doing things in the right direct. Like I'm moving in the right direction, or I also diagnose a lot of the things that I'm doing wrong and figure out why I did it. Like I'm always doing that, which is the reason why I'm so scatterbrained now.
But there's not many people that are like that. And I get
Yeah.
what you're saying because I do the same thing too. And a lot of people don't really pay attention to that. Like people just think that I don't realize shit. And I'm like, bro, like when I say I'm the biggest critic, my own biggest critic, I am.
Yeah.
But like besides the self-evaluation, I really do think, of course, I mean, if you can pull off just looking on YouTube and being your own therapist.
No, I'm
Kudos,
just
but-
all I'm doing is I'm throwing out general ideas that anybody can try.
Yeah,
Like
like-
you said, no, everybody's not gonna have that mindset that he got.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that I throw out is for anybody to try.
Mhm.
So it's like
It's free game.
if you're desperate enough, you'll be willing to try anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we just throwing out the anythings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all.
Shit,
Like,
because it's plenty of people out here that is like, man, no, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
Right.
And then I look at it and I just say, like, I mentioned this. Hey, I'm not even gonna. Matter of fact, fuck it, I'll say it. Because remember when I told you in the book, The Cleanse and shit, when I wrote that about depression and shit like that. So I mentioned when depressed people get really like caught up in the idea of bettering themselves, they'll end up jumping right back into the little ball that they were initially into because it's comfortable, just so they don't have to like somewhat get out of it because they're addicted to being depressed.
right. Which is also a thing too.
Like that mentally they're addicted to being depressed, so they'll like if they ever find any sense of the of healing, they immediately retract all opportunity of every single option that's given to them. They'll be like, nah, that can't work, that can't work, that can't work, that can't work.
Yeah, you don't want it to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're further convincing themselves that they're never going to be better, and this is where they should be.
And then in turn, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I think you said it earlier. It was like you basically you create a ceiling for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And it ain't that high.
And once you create a ceiling for yourself, then there's no place else to go but down. Cause you done put the ceiling right there. Instead of just not making anything right there, that way you can keep going on and on. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's like it's so many different lanes to go. But if you're desperate enough, you'll be willing to try something. Something's going to catch your attention.
Yeah.
All the suggestions we throw out, something's going to appease to your ears. Something's going to be like, you know what? That sound kind of cool right there.
Yeah. And shit, just jump back into it whenever you feel you need to jump into it. It's not that hard. Like all you got to do is just realize that the healing's a process.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people who go through like addiction therapy and shit like that, they're not always going to be 100% on it. Like they're probably going to feel upset about having to go and try and do therapy, or at least trying to get themselves off of the substance they're addicted to and shit. They're going to feel embarrassed because they don't that's not how they view themselves.
Right.
Nobody wants to feel as though like they're lesser or somebody's trying to throw a pity party for them and shit. They don't want that.
Yeah.
And
or the opposite, the opposite lesser, like belittling.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
it's so much, but I mean, we all gotta come to that realization that you can get past anything if you're determined enough to do so.
right. And not be scared to like get help.
Yeah.
whether it come from your friends or anything. Because I feel like pride plays a lot into it too. Which because it's not technically it's not your fault because it's what you've been taught.
Yeah, that blind pride and shit like that.
You ain't a man. That's not what men do.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, that shit is almost stuck in your head at a certain point because at one point it's just like it's your natural instinct, but now you feel as though that's everything you are and you can't be nothing else.
Right.
So everything else that you do that contradicts that, it automatically doesn't even register as manly at all. Me being a writer, I used to write poems all the time.
Right.
Niggas will look down at me like, boy, stop that soft ass shit. Or they'll make fun of me like, oh, this little lovey-dovey ass nigga. It's like, bruh,
Right.
You can't really win for losing because you can't be anything other than what you were supposedly born to be.
Right.
Because me growing up as a writer or even wanting to be one or just wanting to do anything outside of physical activity, it was frowned upon. You were supposed to be the strongest nigga in the yard. You was also supposed to be like the upper echelon of tough. If you're anywhere lower than that, you are not a man. Or you are not going to be one, or let alone you probably a bitch. Right. That's how they're gonna look at you.
Right.
So how the hell do you focus as a teenager or even as a young child? How do you even focus with that level of pressure on you? That's where I believe, like when he said that we gotta teach the next generation to not fall into the same trap, that is like one of the key parts to fixing this.
It's like, because it's like, obviously it's things we can do to fix ourselves, but we already got our mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we know we can multitask with it, and we know we can like focus on multiple things at one time. So it's just best to go ahead and shape them now. So while they're growing, they could be spreading out to the other kids. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like growing up around here, everybody was a tough guy.
Yep.
Everybody.
Or they had to say that they were in order for them not to get fucked with.
And I wasn't a tough guy. I wanted to come outside and be with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we played football, we played basketball. But at the end of the day, I wanted to be with the honeys. You know what I'm saying? Like while everybody was like, oh, we about to shoot dice, or we about to go up the street, or such and such neighborhood up at the carnival, we about to go fight. I'm at the carnival with the girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I didn't want to be a gangbanger. Like I said in the other podcast, like I seen all the lanes where that was traveling to. I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, all the niggas that be lovey-dovey with the girls, they seem to be living pretty smooth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously that ain't work out either. But at that time, it seemed like it. You know what I'm saying?
They was smiling more.
Right. So it's like, it's just, oh, man, it's so much that goes into it.
It is. Oh, and speaking of, what was that toxic trait you were talking about, man? My man never even mentioned the shit.
Yeah, so when he was talking about, it's like when you deal with certain things over and over, everybody got like a different timetable.
Mm-hmm.
I just got this thing, especially nowadays, because it's like super off the charts. I just have a thing where it's like, I get that you're going through something, but if I deem it kind of threatening to like my peace, then I'll just like cut the person off no matter who it is, how close they are, how long we've known each other. Like, I'll fall off with you in the drop of a dime. And it'll be like, damn, I ain't heard from him in like 3-4 months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have a toxic trait that's somewhat similar to that. It's like I sort of am like I treat therapy as like something that needs to be pushed in like an accelerated rate, since I am somewhat like helpful. Like I'll overexert myself when it comes to therapy for somebody else, like to try and help someone else heal.
Right.
To the point where it eventually will become frustrating if I feel as though I feel as though like they're not making progress in
Right.
the time frame in which I was initially shooting for. So that I had to get over.
Right.
It took some time, but I still have some remnants of it. As you can see, with my interaction with Mark, like it happens.
Right.
But that's where it stems from. It's just like I've been there before, so it's just like I never had that when I was going through it. So now you have that, so maybe yours will be a little bit faster than mine.
Yeah.
Like your healing process should accelerate a little bit further now that you have somebody close enough to you and damn near in your face almost all the time about it.
But yeah, it still doesn't work like that.
I
I've
know.
tried the therapy thing, like the friend to friend therapy thing, and it just dawned on me that you really have to be a real therapist. Because of that very reason he just said, you got like these expectations, and like you said earlier, it's really no time frame that you could put on it. But it's like when you think about it from a broader perspective, obviously the therapists know that, and they're paid. So they're willing to work with a time frame. I'm not willing to work with it.
But they also know what they have greater hints. They're trained to know what to look for.
No, it's not. Speaking from a time frame perspective, he can know what to look for. It's just that the same way that he felt like it should have been accelerated. Because I had a similar situation. I was doing it. This was like around the end of last summer, and my fake best friend Jasmine or Matches, she was like going through a lot of stuff, and she used to like want to call me like once a week as a therapy session to vent to me. You know what I'm saying? And at first I was like, nah, you should just really get a real therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit you be mentioning, like that's putting me between a rock and a hard place. Like I'm not a miracle worker.
He's not a miracle.
You know what I'm saying? And she was like, it ain't gotta be like real therapy. I just want you to hear what I gotta say. You always be giving good advice. I see you give good advice to other people. I just want to be a part of it. And so I was like, all right, we can give this a try. You know what I'm saying?
I would have been like, sure, but still get yourself a therapist.
And what she did though, she did, like, credit to her, she did get a real therapist. And so I was like, okay, well, she's a listener, so I thought. And then it's like you see the progress being made, and then it's like, all right, cool, this is cool, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? And progress is being made, and then like I said earlier with my situation, you might have a relapse, no problem.
Yeah,
might have another relapse here and there, no problem. Then she made a conscious decision, keyword conscious. She made a conscious decision that, you know what? I proved to myself that I can get myself out of this if I need to. So I'm going to go back to being this way. And that's when I was like, okay, now I just feel like I wasted all that time.
Yep.
So not only will I can't get that time back, I don't even know if we can really be like fake best friends no more. Because obviously you didn't value my time.
And that's destructive. That's risky as hell.
Yeah.
It is. And that's why I said, like, I would just prefer people go to a real therapist.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you do that with a real therapist, at least he's walking away paid.
Mm-hmm.
I walked away. I lost a friend, basically, because we never, I knew we never was going to recover from that because I took it personal.
Yeah, you felt unappreciated.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's something that's justified in taking personal. That's justified,
right? And I'm like, you didn't value me for real. It dawned on me, and I should have listened to that statement. You saw me doing it to other people, and you wanted to be a part of it.
Yep.
And I interpreted that statement completely wrong when that should have been the ultimate red flag. You just wanted my attention.
Yeah. But it's all a learning experience, though.
It is.
Just not to take that. Like, you to take that as face value. Don't just put your own spin on it.
Yeah, go to YouTube.
Man,
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna send you a link right quick.
hey, shut up, bro. So send you a link real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yeah, this is the therapy thing right here. You go. Hey, click on that second. Yeah.
Hey, yo. Like, just going to direct them to the podcast?
Yeah, that too.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it was like you say, it's very risky because it's different versus like we can do therapy for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I can come outside and go to the park one day. You can get all the therapy you need.
Yeah. And to be honest, like that, sometimes that's a lot of, like, that most of, well, I'm not gonna say most of the time, but a lot of the time, that's pretty much like all people really need is just that, like that
outlet.
positive.
Yeah, positive outlet. That's all.
Yeah, that's all they really need. But the thing is, like, once they get that positive outlet, they can't take advantage of it because sometimes people use that as like a crutch.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you need is just a crutch that's just gonna hold you over until you do it again.
Yeah. I know I'm gonna act up every day of the week, but I go to church on Sundays.
Yeah, if you like that mentality, yeah.
As soon as I leave
to
church,
get more than one coping mechanism for sure.
Let's not talk about the coping mechanism. How about we talk about the
healing.
healing?
The healing mechanism.
Healing. Well, that's what I consider as coping.
No, that's
No.
not what a coping mechanism
Healing
is.
and coping is
See,
two
there you
different
go,
things,
living
yeah.
in your own world again.
Yeah,
Well,
there's two different things.
First and foremost, don't do that because I'll fire you up. Secondly,
Oh shit! Get the hand rub. Oh shit!
so, but when I say coping, like literally, that's like part of healing. That's what I take as coping. Not saying that is what it meant, but like to me, coping is like it's the step forward, and then so it's now becoming a positive reinforcement. So,
But just don't expect us to know what you're talking about
No.
when
Yeah,
you're saying.
because the base definition of coping is like
but I just told
it's
you, and you
healing.
just went off the wheel with it.
Healing is actually like removing something from you that was ailing you. Coping is more so you're putting up with whatever it is that's ailing you.
I mean, me going out to the park all the time is not going to heal me. It's literally just helping me. It's literally having me have a better day. It's helping me do more positive things. That's why I consider this coping. But in the process, the end goal is to be healed, but including positive things in my life is just a factor of that. That's why I call it coping.
Okay, so it would be coping for you.
Yeah. So, because like I said, going out fishing and all that may not necessarily heal me, but it's giving me a better time and a better experience away from the negative shit. It's not allowing me to focus on the negative. So,
Okay, I go to the park and be healed.
yeah.
Yeah,
well, damn man, y'all must got some magical slides and healing fountains and shit like that over there at the park.
no, and we be out there. Don't everybody be venting and talking and
It's the atmosphere.
yeah.
Shit, even when we over, just like in my little square and shit.
Yeah, his square, where he lives at is actually quite active during the good weather days. So
Yeah.
one day you come around here and you stick around late, you'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Shit, it'd be quite a few of us just sitting out there just talking. Just having our little conversations and shit. And people be needing shit like that for real.
yeah, because you realize damn, all right, he telling the same story. I just went through that last week, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I'm saying? And then, like that's what niggas be needing.
Yeah, and you realize like a lot of these niggas hurt for real. It's just like they just need that outlet.
Yeah, everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
Cause they be like, damn, you know, I ain't seen such and such in a couple of months, and then, like I said, you could tell by a nigga's mannerisms. A nigga might say he alright.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell Mike I'm alright, but he know if I sit down on his front and take that deep breath.
Yeah.
I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Something, you know, and then it's just like, yeah, like everybody got like something where you could just tell like, all right, something might be kind of off.
Yeah, bro. It's like, yeah, my tell used to be I just wouldn't say shit. Yeah, that was my biggest tell. Like I just shut off and just wouldn't talk to people.
Yeah.
So, it's also what I forgot to mention earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you feel about people actually making like men in their mental health into like comical shit and like memes or any type of like funny event. Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I guess it's not good. Now obviously in the black community, one thing that black people are prone to do is make jokes.
Yeah, obviously.
No matter how serious the situation is. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, we were on the brink of World War III.
Mm-hmm.
And
the wildest shit I thought about, like a fucking skit about that.
And the jokes were just running like rampant.
Nigga, I had an idea. It was like, I come in here all beat up and fucked up and shit. And then you like, damn, son, where you just come from? Like, nah, I just fell down some steps. And then the caption be like, just came back from Russia.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like, we had the jokes.
Right. I feel like, and it's funny you say that because it's like Kanye West and D.L. Hughley.
Yeah.
They having like this crazy back and forth. And now D.L. Hughley, he tried to approach it the regular way at first, but now he's like cracking jokes on his mental health. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like obviously Kanye West did say some things that was below the belt, above like I feel like off the charts. You get to talk about people like significant others and family members and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like you welcome somebody to make fun of your jokes. But I feel like that's just something I wouldn't do. I would find other ways to rag on them. You know, I don't feel like if you bipolar or something like that, and I don't know what his official thing is, but I know he needs to take medicine that he doesn't take or something like that.
I honestly don't trust a lot of the medicine, so it's like I don't really look at it as like a bad thing. I just think he just needs more outlets. It's just something like
I mean he probably has outlets though. I mean he's a billionaire. Like
just because you got the money don't mean you have like, the positive shit.
I was gonna say it doesn't mean that it triggers something that he actually needs to realize.
But he has the money to have the freedom. Mm-hmm. So he got the freedom though.
He has the freedom, but at the same time he doesn't have the mindset.
Shit, money could be his own damn trap.
It could, but no, I'm not saying like just because he got the money he should be. I'm saying he like for us sitting right here in this room, all the stuff that we partaking in, you writing, you doing the nutritionist and personal trainer, me making like skits and stuff like that, is more difficult to be like super successful from because we still have to. We're not free. You know what I'm saying? You still got to get a job to make ends meet. He doesn't have to go to work. He has $9 billion. He chooses to still go to work, yeah. I feel like if he really, I really feel like he doesn't feel like anything's wrong with him first and foremost.
Yeah, he got a lot of yes men in his entourage.
Yeah, which is probably also very true.
Like I said, there's nothing triggering him to realize what he needs to realize.
Right, but I'm saying if he realizes it, he has the freedom to do it.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
but
That's true, but
I'm not gonna make jokes about it though.
No, of course not. That's something you don't touch on because there's no telling as to what actually happened with him to actually bring that about.
Oh wait, well, his mother.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, it could have been there could have been underlying factors in that.
Yeah, because you watched the documentary and he was hinting that like it was stuff like always off with itself when he was a kid.
Yeah,
and he was like when his mom died, that kind of just like it kind of just forced the issue on everything.
Yeah, it made so much like his story and why he is the way he is. It makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Unlike somebody who's like, they're schizophrenic, so it's somewhat of a, it's sporadic. You don't know why they're that way.
Right.
So I understand a lot of his situation, but the idea of just making fun of his mental health just because he said something about you that you didn't like. Now that's
but like I said, you also another thing is like you also can't tell people how to respond to you either.
That's true.
Because you say something about somebody's wife. Like he was talking about the man, wife, and all that. The wife,
I mean, but wasn't he initially talking about his wife in situations like that? So wasn't that technically back and forth between the two?
I don't think he said nothing about his wife though. Well, until now.
I
Because
mean,
the thing is, D.L. Hughley was trying to be professional about it at first. He wasn't talking about nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's just that once Kanye hear you mention his name, he just starts like wilding out.
okay, I mean, anybody like his status and shit, and also as defensive as he is and shit, it's not absurd. To
Yeah,
hear that.
if you're not like in his circle, if Jay-Z mentioned his name, he's probably at least gonna want to hear what Jay-Z say.
Yeah.
And even if it's something that he doesn't take a liking to, he's not going to haul off on Jay.
Yeah, I mean, and then he's going through the situation with like it wasn't like the person who's dating his wife now wasn't like his best friend at one point or some shit like that.
Fuck no.
And
Yeah,
or at least a close
Pete,
friend or some shit
Pete
like that.
Davidson. He
Yeah.
knew Pete Davidson. They wasn't friends.
But the thing is, isn't he also making fun of his mental health?
yeah, but that's
Davidson
comedian.
Yeah, so
No.
you look at shit like that, and
with his wife.
Yeah, he dating Kim K. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I
That
don't.
goes to show that anything can fucking happen in this world.
I mean, he should have been on that, but
I mean, I honestly don't even. I don't give a shit about the whole relationship thing because I don't like
I'm
Kim
sorry.
Kardashian.
I'm just
so
shocked. Like I know who Pete Davidson is. I'm just
Of course.
that just
very
kinda
popular
fucking
Saturday Night Live.
caught me the fuck off guard.
I don't know who he is.
Anyway,
He's one of the more popular comedians on Saturday Night Live.
I honestly don't watch Saturday Night Live, so it's not
he's
that.
definitely a different personality.
Yeah, you know the Saturday Night Live comedians, they don't really have they don't have filters or cut cards. None of them. The only person close to having like a filter or a cut card is probably Keenan.
Yeah, because he's on a short leash.
I guess that might be it. But all the other comedians, they'll say whatever. Because yeah, I don't know. They'll say whatever. Even the other black guy though, Michael Shea, he'll say whatever. And he like I don't know. They must it got to be somebody telling them, "Don't worry, y'all good."
Like even men like they don't take mental health seriously. Like, it's a joke, to be honest.
It is.
Like that's technically a quote unquote it's a roast topic for some reason. It's like, and those are some of the taboo topics that you don't like. Even in areas like this, we know how far to go and we know what can trigger somebody.
Yeah.
So we'll try our best not to touch on any of that. Same thing they do in like battle rap. All right, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. But some of them go too far and they ended up getting into a situation that they weren't prepared to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So we have somewhat of an unwritten contract. You don't go there. But others, I mean, they so caught up in their arrogance, they like, yeah, man, it doesn't even matter to me. It's just another day at the office.
Right.
And
and niggas like in this area, if you do go there, you know the common answer is just, man, just smoke this weed. You be alright. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let's not talk about that shit. The whole time, they was making. Remember when they was making the jokes about that nigga Tyrese when he lost his shit over IG Live?
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I thought like one of the niggas and shit.
Yeah, see,
I still be using this little video too. Like,
but the thing is, I was also one of them niggas. Like the thing is, I will completely like take all accountability for the shit that I did. Like I'm not gonna deny that, and I fell victim to that same mentality.
yeah, like you pray and feel and hope that he get the help. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I used the joint yesterday. Matter of fact, the little joint where he was crying and he'd be like, "Congratulations," but he crying while he saying it.
What female did you use that shit for?
I was on a little Rihanna post and shit.
Oh shit!
Like, Rihanna growing, baby bump growing nice and healthy. I put a little congratulations. Like you be saying congratulations, but you really be bad and shit. Yeah.
God damn it, bro.
But nah, niggas definitely was looking at him sideways and shit.
It is looking at him sideways. It was all who else had the emotional breakdowns and shit? It was quite a few niggas and shit that it's happened to in the spotlight, and niggas just shrugged that shit off. It was like, man, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga, bruh?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they'll say that in a way that's disrespectful instead of saying, "Damn, I wonder what he's going through."
Yeah, I know he's not black, but we, if we just speaking on males, I know a few years ago when LeBron was back in Cleveland, Kevin Love had went through a situation where he had like big mental health issues, and he started missing like a bunch of games or whatever, and because you know how you'll be watching like ESPN or something, and it'll go across the bottom like such and such not playing, and it'll have in parentheses why he not playing. Like it wasn't saying like mental health or nothing like that. It just was saying he wasn't playing. And after a while, niggas be like, "Oh, what the fuck wrong with what Kevin Love at?" And niggas is pestering LeBron, and you could tell that everybody on the team knew they just wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's just a testament to how different the times is. Because it's like, he had did an interview like late last year where he was talking about it or whatever. And he was saying like everybody wasn't accepting of it. He was like, he was playing like games. When he did come back, he was playing games. And that was like a way that the opponents would try to get into his head. Oh, we're going to send you back to that mental house, you bet. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, yeah, it's just like, it was like, wow.
Did the same thing happen to Karl Anthony Towns at one point? Like this, when Jimmy Butler was in with the Timberwolves and shit. Remember when they had that still shot, and they had that shit plastered everywhere, where it looked like he was crying when he was on the court and shit, when he was about to go up for a shot, and they kept calling him soft.
Yeah, and then come to find out, Jimmy Butler fucked this girl and shit.
Which is wild as fuck, man.
Yeah, and you forced to go out and play with a nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He playing with you.
Yeah, like you on a team, you still got to go out and perform. You getting paid to perform and shit like that. I mean, at least the Timberwolves did do Cat a solid and traded Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? But they even force a nigga to still, like, you find some shit like that. Imagine when your teammate sleep with your wife. And you still forced to go out and play with this nigga.
Yeah.
And y'all better be on the same page, too, because I know we try to make, you know what I'm saying?
Even though them niggas, it's the fucking Timberwolves, bro.
Yeah. But they went to the playoffs that year.
They was somewhat nice, but
yeah, I mean first
still
round,
the Timberwolves.
Yeah, first round exit, but still you never know like how detrimental that is all around. Because it's like now, if that story doesn't come out, maybe other people want to go there with y'all. Yeah. Now you can be more than nice. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, I'm not going to no team. If he over there fucking niggas bitches, what am I go there for? Ain't enough money in the world. Like, what? The main nigga fucking niggas bitches and y'all trying to sign me? Hell nah. Nah.
Yeah, bro.
Like, no, you gonna have the nigga damn near about to kill himself, because like you said, he on a court crying.
Yeah. Same thing was like,
he gonna kill himself or he gonna kill the nigga he with?
Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah, like DeMar DeRozan actually came out and was like, yeah, he dealt with depression and all that shit like that, and they kind of like swept that under the rug, to be honest.
And Toronto traded him too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Kawhi, but still,
they swept that under the rug, something serious.
Yeah.
Because after that initial announcement, you didn't hear shit from it, for real.
Yeah. That's how I think what the NBA does is the NBA, they catch wind of certain stuff, and if they don't know how to deal with it, they'll sweep it under the rug until they figure out a solution. Because now they done brought it to the forefront. Now it's the forefront because they done figured out a solution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the NFL, if it happens in the NFL will let you feel your way through it.
Bruh, let's not talk about that shit. Like, it's tons of niggas in the NFL going through that shit, and they just like, nah, we need you to perform.
Yeah, but they'll let you like, now they providing like therapy for you. That's why I feel like the NBA. I feel like the NBA.
I mean, they provide therapy, but at the same time, nigga, with all the CTE cases and shit, therapy ain't gonna work after a while.
But it's better than nothing, though.
It is.
Like it's no point because like that could be anybody's mindset if they feel like therapy not gonna work after a while.
I just see that shit as like, bro, like you providing the therapy, but nigga, you the trauma, and I gotta exist in the trauma.
I mean, you don't have to though.
At a certain point,
like I forgot what we was arguing about a long time ago. I think it was a Steve Urkel nigga.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, if you really fucked up, quit. You don't gotta play in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like we now, as nice as you might be, we can go get somebody else now.
Yeah, I mean that will work in like a perfect world. However,
no, it'll work from the team's world, not a perfect world. It'll work from the team's world.
I'm talking about in the sense of the player, not the team.
Oh, because it's plenty of players walking away at 25, 26.
Yeah, because their mindset is somewhat different. They're
right.
Not everybody has the same thought process though. Like some of them niggas, that's all they know. That's it.
It would depend because, like I said about Kanye earlier, it has to change because you got freedom.
Yeah.
Once you got millions, you have freedom.
Yeah, but a lot of people,
I don't even think there is a thought process with that much money.
I mean, no, because I understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, you got to look at it from their perspective. Not every last one of them has that same mindset to say, shit, I got the freedom to go out and do this. You know what I should do? I should get this therapy. And after that, I can lead the NFL and I ain't got to worry about it.
But you know why they don't lead the NFL? You know why they don't leave? Because the million is not going to be there no more. Nobody on earth loves football that much.
And they also lack proper guidance. That too.
You don't need guidance. Niggas quit shit every day. This ain't this. If you in the NFL, I guarantee that's not gonna be the first job you ever quit in life.
Hey,
game. You done played games before. You ever quit a video game before?
I get it. I know what you're talking about, but we're talking about something that's on a grander scale.
It doesn't matter what the more money you have, the scale not gonna matter. If I feel like I'm wrong mentally, I can leave the NFL. You don't.
Yeah, that's come from a person. You say I can do that.
Right,
but they can't always do that. They don't feel that way.
No, because they don't want to leave the money.
Because that's what they were taught. They was like, this is what you need to survive. Get the money, get help later. That's a problem.
Then, like we said earlier, you got to be desperate enough to want to do something now, or it's going to go for nothing.
And they haven't made that decision yet.
No, yeah, because the money. It's us sitting here without the millions is way different. Plus, people that got the millions. Like I said, it's like three linemen just retired like last week. Yeah, it's too tough mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's possible. It ain't like it's unheard of.
No, it's not unheard of.
Other people can see them doing it and be like, you know what? Calvin Johnson did it.
Bro, Calvin Johnson was on his last leg with
no, he wasn't.
With Detroit. No,
he was in his prime.
Nigga, do you understand how
Calvin Johnson went to the Hall of Fame last summer and he still looked like he could play football.
He can.
Right.
But the problem is like his body was deteriorating
Calvin Johnson was healthy. He was fucked up mentally.
Also, he was fucked up mentally and physically.
No, he was healthy. Calvin Johnson was healthy.
Calvin Johnson
he was healthy, bro. I promise he was. We watched football 20. Calvin Johnson was healthy. He even in his speech, like, bro, playing for the Lions, that's a daunting task.
It is because they have a very piss poor way of treating it, of showing appreciation to their players. That's right. That's how
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, Barry Sanders was the same
mentally.
Way. It takes away a lot.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Barry Sanders, he was on like 9 years in. Easily.
It beats you down. Yes, it does.
Right.
But it took them 8-9 years though. It took him that.
No,
that long.
That's on the Lions. That's not on him. Like the same thing we was talking about earlier with Dame off air with Damian Lillard. Like that's the blind loyalty. Nah, Barry, we got you, bro. We gonna bring in a quarterback and who? Joey Harrington. Who the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying?
Let's not talk about him.
Nah, Burry, just hang in there, Burry, hang in there, Burry. We got to situate this money this year, but hey, next off season we got you, Burry. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, you just like, yo, these niggas ain't gonna do nothing, man. I'm gone. Cause just think, if it wasn't mentally, Burry just would have went somewhere else. They said when Calvin Johnson retired, they said Bill Belichick called Calvin Johnson 23 times.
That's not surprising.
No, it is. From Bill Belichick, it is surprising.
No, it's not.
It is because he's like, bro, he's not the type of person to do that.
Nigga, his
He let
caliber,
Tom lead.
His caliber of, like, bro, Calvin Johnson's caliber of wide receiver is unheard of.
Bro, but that's something Bill wasn't doing, though. Bill let Tom Brady walk out the door.
The niggas wasn't always like,
He let Tom walk, bro. He called bro. All I'm saying is that if it wasn't anything mental, they just would have went elsewhere. Calvin Johnson could have. Now Calvin Johnson went to the Patriots. They probably winning Super Bowls now still. I mean, well, I ain't gonna. They won one like 3 years ago. My bad, 3 years ago. So it ain't like they stopped. But you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's mental. It was mental. Like, I mean, we gonna blame Detroit. It is their fault. It shouldn't be that hard to get him one other person.
yeah, that's true. But at the same time, the same thing we were talking about earlier. It's like not everybody's process is the same. So
Which is also true.
we gotta take into consideration like everybody else has to take their own time in order for them to get to where they need to get to, or to get to that mindset as to where I can end this now. Not necessarily say I can end myself. I can end this situation.
The situation, yeah.
Yeah, I can remove myself from the situation so that I can better benefit myself in the long run. And I feel as though a lot of people are taking the necessary steps to do that now, which is a terrific task for them to take on.
I love it.
Yeah, I love to see the people actually taking that shit into consideration now. And I feel as though it should be like not necessarily like a forefront in mental health, but it should definitely be up there with just a lot of the other talking points that are being expressed nowadays, because it's something that it leads to a lot of the other problems we're dealing with.
Right.
Like we talk about how many people are going out killing so many other people, all the deaths, all the robberies, like even the whole like war shit.
Yeah.
You understand like how fucked up you have to be mentally to do a lot of the shit that niggas is doing nowadays as far as war.
Right.
So many things can be fixed with a better mental health regimen.
Yeah. And I feel like therapy will play a big part in that.
Yeah. Which
I feel like a lot of
agree.
things will play a big part in it, but I feel like that would be the easiest to get everybody on board with.
Yeah.
Because everybody is already mentally accustomed to hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with people, you kind of got to ease them into things that even if they're not comfortable with it, they know of.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you going in for like a job interview, and let's say you get real nervous about interviews, and you be like, all right, well, this who gonna interview you, and it's a person you never heard of. Now you might be even more nervous. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Versus like it's a person like, damn, I don't know that manager, but I know of them, and I hear they pretty cool. Might ease the tension a little bit, and that could be the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I just feel like I'm just glad, like, whether it's the NBA or the NFL, I'm glad people taking actions now.
Yeah.
Because any progress is good progress.
Nigga.
Unless it becomes like stagnant. But it's a fresh movement. So it's not gonna be stagnant. At least today, it's not stagnant.
Yeah,
March 2022 is not stagnant.
Shit, bro. There's so many situations that could have been avoided in the past had they taken necessary precautions now. I mean, had they taken the necessary precautions then as to waiting so long. because like you look at the like even way back like the Steve McNair situation when like R.I.P. like his
Ed
situation.
McNair, love him.
Yes, sir. But even with his situation, like that could have been nipped in the bud off Bucks, and he probably would never been in the situation that he was with the girl. Like he
Think so? I think he's a player, man.
And then also the like who was that nigga who was on the 49ers?
Who?
Like I forget either he was with the 49ers or he was with the Chiefs or something.
Oh, cuz they killed himself.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was super mental.
exactly.
Yeah, that was with the Chiefs.
So
Yeah, in front of the coaches too. That was
tough.
That's mental right there.
So
Ed McNair, I think young black guy. It's if you're super successful and you're into women, it's just gonna be too much temptation. Like I probably wouldn't even get married if I was to be like, if I'm not already going into it with the woman, I probably wouldn't get married because it's too much temptation.
And what was that nigga name? Foster who played with the Redskins and shit. Like he was originally with I think it was the 49ers or some shit.
The running back,
Nah, I think it was a linebacker.
Reuben Foster.
Yeah, Reuben Foster and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, his situation was quite mental as well.
Yeah, it's tons of them now. It's tons of them. Yeah, it's tons of them.
Like the nigga Chris Brown from the Giants and shit. The nigga was beating his wife and all that shit.
Oh yeah. Those.
Yeah.
What was it? Zach Stacy.
Bruh.
Like, you see his video, you could tell that it's just something wrong. It just be something wrong with niggas. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm just like, hopefully bringing awareness is a start. That's the start. You know what I'm saying? So now, I don't know, because with them type of niggas, I really don't feel like therapy will help them type of niggas.
Yeah.
If you feel like throwing a female around, beating on a female, then your brain just wired differently.
What?
Yeah.
Like, and also they got other niggas. You know, to me, I still believe that nigga Ben Roethlisberger was guilty. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He got proved innocent. I don't know.
But yeah, that is definitely some mental shit that goes into that as well.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'd be sketchy on the whole rape thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Luckily, because Chris Brown was just going through the super rape allegation charges. Luckily, he kept a recording from the girl.
Oh yeah, I mean it's this day and age, being skeptical on the quote unquote cases that they're dealing with now, because like dealing with stature is a completely different scenario. Yeah. Because when you have a certain amount of respect and fame and money, it automatically puts you it automatically puts a target on your back from everybody.
Right. But it's been like that though. Yeah. It's just that now we got so much social media, and niggas ain't have that. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully somebody could. Oh no, he didn't do that. I was right there. I got the video in there. You know what I'm saying? Like hopefully you could get a prey like that. You know what I'm saying? Versus like in the 90s, it's a rap. Mm-hmm. You ain't even got. I'm like Bill Cosby. They just said Bill Cosby did something 40 years ago.
Yep.
How do you prove that? Because multiple people said, and we just seen Deshaun Watson get accused by 25 women, and he just beat 25 charges. Mm-hmm. How? So if he could beat his charges, how y'all gonna say Bill Cosby did something 40 years ago? And then why he done served the sentence, damn near most of the sentence, and then y'all say, oh yeah, we made a mistake, he gotta go free. Like what the hell? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'd be super on the fence about that kind of stuff, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, I don't take it with a grain of salt, but I also am like realistic in my expectations.
Yeah. For guys, I feel like once you get accused of something, that's the guilty. Because like look at it. You'll get accused of something, your image get tarnished. You're not even guilty, by the way. You just accused of it. image get tarnished. You're probably gonna lose sponsorships, or let's say regular dudes like us, you know, it's gonna make its way around Facebook, Instagram. You're gonna be the talk of the DMV. You're gonna be on a bunch of these do not work with, do not fuck with lists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go to court. Oh, turns out such and such is innocent. He wasn't even in the area. You think your innocence is going to make waves like how your accusation did?
Nope.
Hell no.
Yeah, and that also plays.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
that plays a huge part in the whole mental health shit too.
Right.
Because shit, like you can be torn down at any point in time with no repercussions to the other person, even if they're found if they're found wrong.
And that's why females do it, because it's no punishment for not.
Yeah, it's that
Like
too much control of that.
I feel like whatever the charge is, like let's say they accuse Chris Brown of rape, whatever the sentence is for the rape, if he gets proved innocent, the girl should go do that sentence.
Yeah, because
You know
or
what
at
I'm saying?
least do the fucking like the due diligence and just say, oh, the amount of money that was cost for the fines and all that shit that was being paid out to the lawyers, you have to pay that all back with community service.
You gotta pay that back on money, Slim. I don't even know how Chris Brown funds is. Like, he might be secretly struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you never know.
Wasn't that like $25 million worth of lawyers?
I don't know how much he paid. I know it ain't cheap. It's him. I know it ain't
It's
cheap.
him.
Yeah, I know it ain't cheap.
Hey, because you know they out here, they shady. They definitely shady.
Yeah, and it's like only reason I said like she should go serve the sentence is because they gotta do what they do for dudes. They make example out of dudes.
Yo,
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they do.
So you gotta do that with the female.
Yeah,
All right, well.
because a lot of times it's not no learning curve for that. They'll just like, well, I got away with it. I can do it again.
Oh well.
yeah, it's just like, oh, I'm going to show up again. Like they don't even be showing their faces. They don't show their faces.
And-
They,
and she
like their
probably-
name don't show up.
And she ain't nobody like, bro, it's too much. And a lot of people do this, but it's like females mostly. Like females that do stuff if they know they can get away with it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like if they know they can get away with it, they'll. Oh well. Or worse, come to worse, I can manipulate the situation.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a-
And it comes down to like, what do you do with the power? Well, air quotes power.
Nah, nigga, that's power. They damn near Thanos at this point.
Yeah, and that's like that. No, that shit corny. It's like real corny.
It is.
It gets real crazy, especially when you realize you can like recruit people to think the same way that you do
Yeah, that's
in
just
that moment.
that
You
when we was
get-
talking about the Bill Cosby shit, like,
Or
yeah.
Deshaun
The
Watson.
very moment
Yeah.
that you can get an audience and people to rally up behind you, bro, it's a wrap.
And it started with the Me Too movement, bro.
Man, you know what? Damn, he raped me too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like that.
Son, like,
Oh, you know what? I was about that too.
Or just like, I just knew it. I knew it. Like, I always knew he was a rapist. Like,
And it's you being
like, you
accused.
did? Really?
Mhm.
Did?
Right.
When have you been around to realize this?
Right.
yeah, bro.
Like it's so.
And shit, even if you do the time and shit, you never live the shit down, even if you were innocent or guilty and shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you done
Anything that
lost-
possibly transpired in the process.
You done lost your deals. You think McDonald's gonna pick you back up? No. Nah, well, we just can't take that kind of risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you done lost that money.
Damn.
Lord forbid, like your label stop fucking with you. Now we can't even drop the album.
Dog, that's because that happens.
Right.
That happens. Like you can have your entire career thrown away
Derailed.
off of something that you didn't do or had no idea you was even gonna be close to being a part of.
Right. Right. And that's just crazy.
Like you could just be in the vicinity of somebody. Up, I got a case,
yeah. That's just so crazy.
and I'm not even gonna lie. Like this is just me being like a conspiracy theorist and shit. But they look forward to tearing niggas down. They look forward to
But
it.
that's not a conspiracy though.
I mean,
that's
you know how people are.
yeah. That's more so of another thing people just program. Like people don't like consistent greatness. You know what I'm saying? everything has like an underdog feel to it. That's what majority of people want to see win, the underdog. Like let's say niggas see you scratching and clawing to do something, and you finally get over the hump, and they're gonna glorify you. As soon as you here in that spot for about a good 3 to 4 years, I'm gonna get tired of you. I'm tired of saying Mark, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else out there? Like, or if it's somebody that you consistently beating, damn, I want Cuz to win for once. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like so on and so forth. And it's like, I don't know what the infatuation is with turn like the man down, but that's definitely one of the reasons. Like, it's just cool to be like, all right, that nigga doing this thing, young, but man, how can we fuck this up? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I say, yeah, Micah Ryder, let's go set all those books on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, like that's how niggas really.
Yeah, but I mean, they do feel that way in some cases and shit. But sometimes you gotta roll with the punches. But if it's gonna cost you that much, there has to be some level of consequence for the people that are taking these level of indecent actions.
Go back into hiding.
Yeah,
you still living, living a regular life and all that.
It's like niggas a turtle. As soon as they decide, oh, I'm gonna fuck something up, let me poke my head out.
Yeah.
And as soon as that don't work, let me tuck it back in.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it until eventually it works and shit. And then, oh shit, I got me a solid gold shell.
Yeah. So just luckily he had the recording of the girl.
Yeah, because it's
saying that she was going to try to set him up or some shit like
nigga.
that. Trying to blackmail him basically.
Bro.
Because if he didn't,
it could have gone left real fast.
Yeah.
Especially given his situation with Rihanna, because they've been waiting to get rid of that nigga, bro.
Yeah. Because they probably didn't think he was going to strike back from that.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think he was gonna come back from that.
Hey, no bullshit. Like, I didn't think he was gonna come back from it, and also I was real like that kind of that lost me as a fan.
Oh, okay.
That shit right there. That he lost me as a fan with that shit.
Yeah, it was definitely wild circumstances.
Yeah, bro. But at the same time, they never held Rihanna accountable though. You ever think about it?
They kind of did. Well, at least she did. At least she held hers because she was like going to the court dates with him.
Yeah,
she was trying to get the charges all lessened.
The people never really.
Well, that's how it is. Any situation like that, Mark could be dating a girl and the girl could be beating on Mark, and somehow, some way, they're going to find a way for him to be wrong in the situation. Like, whenever they say domestic violence, it's going to be his fault somehow. Never mind the girl just totally beating on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's another thing that a lot of men really can't really talk about and shit is the fact that we go through domestic violence too. Like,
super facts.
Like
a motherfucker.
We don't ever really put that into take that into consideration, the fact that there are women out here that's really doing that shit for real.
Yeah, it could go both ways. Like, I still to this day see these social experiments on YouTube where it's like let a dude so much is like get irate and loud with a woman out in public.
Mm-hmm.
And they be like, hey, yo, chill. Like, you got to relax, man. That's a female or whatever. And then they'll flip the role, and then they'll have the female beat up on a dude. And there's people that it'll show people just walking by, looking back, like shaking their head and smiling, like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what?
When it should be the exact same reaction.
Yeah.
Like, yo, chill, break it up, you know what I'm saying?
Because she doesn't have that demanding presence that the man supposedly has. Like, he can get her off of him as much as, like, any point in time. That's how they feel. He can defuse this situation at any point in time by just saying, chill, back off.
Right.
But if he was to do that, that's force. Then there's a problem. Now they're fighting.
Yeah, some females be like, did you just touch me? Like,
yep.
Bruh, like, First of all, please get out my space. Just like at this point, leave me alone. And some people don't even do that. They'll follow.
Yeah.
And problems will get worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
I seen a little skit one time where the little fake couple, they did like a little fake domestic violence joint, and cuz came in the house and was washing the dishes, and so she had came in behind him and she was cussing him out like for like a bunch of stupid stuff or whatever, and she was like throwing packs of noodles at the nigga and all that. So the nigga was being like super calm and all that. He was like, yo, stop playing all the time, stop playing all the time. And so the last joint, she said something about like Taco Bell. She said something about Taco Bell. And then she started like smacking him up against the head, against his head or whatever. So he like, the nigga like caught her hand with one of his fingers though, and like did like this to push her hand away. And then she started spinning around, like, hey, hit me, hit me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, chill,
And then
bro.
she fell back in the corner and started having like a little fake seizure and all that. I'm like, hey yo, she is wilding. But that's how
jokes like that are made, because it's making fun of the situation that people actually over-exaggerate the fuck out of situations.
Right, and that's some shit that they probably seen happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And the thing is, like, women can get away with that because they're seen as the docile, timid type. None of them are supposed to be the aggressor of the situation because that's what they're viewed as. But nobody really takes that into consideration. Like, dog,
Shit, that's
they
why
can
I
be
leave.
very, very violent.
I like to ask questions, bro. like, how the fuck did this take place?
Yeah, like,
From A to B. What's up?
because some females can be naturally violent off of the fact that they know nobody's going to do anything about it. Because they're never taught that there are equal opportunities out here for everybody depending on who you touch.
right.
But in their mind, they're always been taught a man should never hit a woman. A man should never do this. A man should never do that. But that just creates a superiority complex, and then eventually they grow into adulthood and believe that no matter what I do to him, he'll never touch me.
And then you start doing some unequal shit where it's just like, now you pushing the boundaries a little too much.
Yeah.
And then when that moment happens, it's just like, surprise.
And-
It's like you getting set up for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Like you don't ever want to take advantage of nobody and try to do shit to people.
Yeah, that's true. But then there are also those people that won't retaliate at all because they feel as though they're doing something wrong all the time. Because if they're getting hit for some reason, eventually they're just going to believe, what am I doing wrong? Because that's what they're going to continue to tell them. Like, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. That's the reason why I'm hitting you and all that. Because that comes from the idea of like getting beat as a child. Like, you did something wrong, obviously, so eventually you're just going to get hit for it.
Again, that's just hella manipulation and taking advantage of a situation. That's
It
just
is.
And that's them from like the slavery mindset.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
crazy fucked up.
Slave master mindset, my bad.
Look, it's so much to unpack with just these small sample sizes of what we talk about. Because dealing with the whole domestic violence shit and how females can really take advantage of that. Men are so accustomed to feeling like, shit, I have to be tough. I got to be a man about this. They will not say shit. And the domestic violence case will always tower over the man versus the female because men can't talk about it.
Right. Because you saw, bro. Oh, man.
If that was me, yeah, I'd never let her put her hands on me.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the nigga that'll beat the bitch. Yeah.
yeah, the comparison and the testosterone levels that's like feuding between people that really just feel so arrogant, like, oh, I'm better than this nigga. There's no way. Like, it's so much going on with that.
Oh, you just a woman beater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like.
I'll turn Floyd Mayweather quick. Yeah,
And those the people I choose to disassociate myself with.
yeah.
I see my man Mark over here shaking his head and shit.
Yeah, but like
Brought back memories and shit.
Like I said, like I actually went through a situation like that, and even to a point where it was like the defense got taken as the assault.
Yeah, of course.
Like literally, when the people that came in and broke the situation up, they was like, "Bro, I thought it was you that was like doing." I was like, "Nah, I was pushing back like to prevent this shit."
Yeah.
Because where the situation was happening, it was in a bedroom, and the door, of course, and the bedroom door, it swings inward.
Right.
So
Because everybody's programmed to want to think it's you.
and where she was, the bedroom door, she like her back was going against the door because I'm trying to push her, create a distance between us. And then like at the end of it all, it was like, yeah, for real, I thought it was you doing this and this and this. I was like, nah, nigga. First and foremost, like what you see, like me bleeding and all that, it happened because one, I didn't fight back. Had I fought back, it would have been like much more. But like, come on, bro. Like situations like that, it's just like you gotta be able to look on both sides of the spectrum. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, cause there are moments where shit like that happens from the other side where it's least expected.
Yeah, it makes sense because, like, given your situation, it's like it was almost.
And it took mad strength, like to a point I broke into tears, like that. It like literally I talked myself out of the situation because the thing was, the reason why there was really no reaction, it wasn't because I wasn't able to do so. Like the bloodshed and everything didn't faze me. In fact, it enraged me. Now my adrenaline is up. But what I did was I kept myself down to the ground. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put myself down to the ground and I'm going to wait. And I kind of self-talked. But also in the midst of me self-talking, the words came out was, I can't believe after all this shit, I'm still in love with you. And I'm thinking in the process, I'm protecting you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because this here, I'm still able to go. But here it is, just like it's just the advantage being taken of the situation, and people around are just like looking at it from a different point of view, like, oh, he did this. Look at the scene here. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, nah, bro, like, you know, it took a lot of self-control for that situation because there's definitely a voice in the back of my head. Had you fought back or had you did a little bit more, this wouldn't have happened to you.
Mm-hmm. And then
Nah,
that shit it kind of like takes me back to the idea of like when the bully's parents don't take their actions into consideration, so they'll kind of they'll like there's no way my son or my daughter did this because they're such a good kid and all that shit, and they'll never hold them accountable.
And that's what makes me fearful as a parent, because if I have children and my kids was getting bullied, I would have been like, well, all right, push come to shove, if this don't end and you don't talk to your child or and there ain't nothing done at that school, your kid's ass is going to get whooped every motherfucking day. Because best believe, if my kid going to fight to defend themselves, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I would hope that it wouldn't have to keep coming to that.
I mean, it would have to, though.
But
especially depending on what kind of
if
area
you ain't going to
you're
do
in.
shit about it, and then they be like, oh, my kid would never do this. All right, well, I guess your kid just going to get their ass beat. Because there's going to come a time.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what needs to happen.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not.
None of us ever check.
And I'm not going to say it in the perspective like my kid is not capable of being a bully, because they might actually take that time.
Yeah.
And that's best believe I'm gonna nip that shit in the bloodline. We not moving that way. But like, definitely, if my child was being bullied, I'm asking questions first, like who started what, how did this happen, or whatever. Then I'm also going to analyze, because lies happen.
Yeah, though.
So once I realized that the truth was being told from my child or whatever, and nothing was being settled, all right, cool. Well, now I know how to teach my kid this if they're not taught already. But at the same time, if you're not gonna do nothing about it, and you're basically leaving it to the children to settle it for themselves, I'm not gonna care if the other child get their ass whooped. I mean, I do feel sorry because that's a child, but at the same time, what did y'all do to prevent that? And that kind of terrifies me a little bit, because I would hope I would have to never say that shit.
Yeah.
But it might have to happen.
Yeah.
Like I said, depending on what area you're going to be in.
Yeah, bro, because a lot of that shit don't really be flying. Like for real, for real. It just depends on the people you around. Cause even niggas around here, like they honestly don't even be taking that bullying shit into consideration. And shit. They don't really appreciate shit like that for real.
Yeah, yeah. If it's somebody when I was younger, and somebody wasn't a fighter, like say you wasn't a fighter, like say we knew you, like Mark Cool and shit. He ain't a fighter, but somebody that was a fighter will always be like bothering you. Yeah. Somebody close in the area would take up for you for no reason.
Yeah, what
I'm saying?
Check that nigga in the heartbeat.
Yeah, no, fight me, cuz. I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
You know Mark be cooler. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so hopefully you don't have to go through that situation, but if it does arise, hopefully that's still in play. I don't know how schools are now. Yeah. Everybody might be trying to see like a fight or something, but
yeah, that I don't know. Like maybe, like hopefully that's the way it is now. But
yeah,
with the years of the smartphones and all that shit, niggas just want to go viral and all
that's
that.
That's what
shit.
I'm saying. That niggas might want to see a fight. So but nah. If my kid was getting bullied, like once you confirm that it's being bullied, like depending on what kind of kid I have, if he's not a fighter, you have to explain to the kid, like whether it's a boy or a girl, you'll be like, this is you're a certain kind of way, and this is what you are. But there are other kids out here that's like different. It's the opposite. The same way how I be trying to explain to people, like, or like a year or so ago when it was a bunch of, remember it was like I don't know if it was either right before the pandemic or right after it happened. It was like a bunch of shootings around here, like one night. It was like one night where it was just like a bunch of shootings.
Yeah, I think I remember that it was like gunshots so fucking often.
It was like 2020. It was like, I don't know, it was like a Friday night or something. It was just like 100 shots though. Like it was like 100 shots.
Yeah,
and so
I remember that.
And so my mom, she was all like, people ain't got no nothing better else to do to be out here shooting guns and disturbing other people and stuff like that. I'm like, Mom, they not. If they're out here shooting, they don't care if they just, you know what I'm saying? Like you're thinking of people like with the same kind of leniency that you got. I don't want to disturb nobody. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the other kid's not gonna care. So I gotta explain. You gotta explain to the kid, like, yo, this is what you up against. This is what I'm gonna do to like, cause you know me, analytical. This is what I'm gonna do to sway the odds in your favor. We're gonna sign you up for one of these classes. You can do a regular self-defense class. You can do boxing. You can do kickboxing. You can do karate. You're gonna learn one of these, because you learn one of these. When somebody tests you, you ain't got to worry about how you're going to defend yourself. It's going to be human nature at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to go around abusing this. Remember the little Hey Arnold episode where he learned how to do karate?
Yeah, nigga was chopping this.
That nigga was going around abusing the shit out of his power. He was weird. Like he was. It went from him being bullied to him becoming the bully.
Yeah, I remember when what was he was kicking the boards and shit.
Yeah, kicking the clothes off niggas and all that. He did the little spin kick and cuz little shirt ripped off.
Hey yo, that
yeah, he was an animal when he learned karate, but
had his little hair slicked back in the little
with the little band on. Yeah. Like an Arnold, yeah. But yeah, you gotta keep your kid from becoming that. You know what I'm saying? Because Lord knows if your kid get bullied and your kid can find out, like, damn, I can fight. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you don't want it to be an adrenaline rush for the kid, because then he gonna go around trying to fight everybody. But yeah, it's a lot of.
That's why you definitely got to start nipping bullying in the bud, bro, because that's a domino effect for a lot of shit.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. Cause
next thing you know, niggas be hanging niggas over balconies at school and all that. You know what I'm saying? So definitely gotta get that out of the way, yo.
Oh shit.
Definitely.
Man, Mark over this, he trying to just keep it down. This is like,
See,
hey,
man,
fuck y'all niggas.
it was no confirmation to none of that shit. You didn't even have to put my name out there, bro. I was just gonna let that slide.
Yeah, I see. See, I did it the right way. I just brought the situation up. I ain't say no names.
Well, we got it on the podcast, so it's like,
Oh, stool pigeon, bro.
Yeah, ain't say no names or nothing, man.
so we got this shit on the podcast. So if they listening to it and they heard that episode, they know what we talking about.
They got, it happened with cause, bro.
Yeah,
we know.
The cause was like this nigga was fucking with your gang.
Yeah, nigga cross the Don.
Yeah,
You think you can do this to me?
Don Anthony.
I mean, it definitely had nothing to do with me, but
Yeah,
Don,
it had everything to do with the click and shit. That's what it had.
Don Oso.
Don Oso. Oso Don Mark. Hey yo.
He's all right right there, man.
Yeah, definitely. My man was a whole kingpin out here,
Uh-huh.
peddling pencils.
Man, make sure my kid go to your school, man.
This is no bull.
This the clique you gonna be in right here.
We love you though, bro.
I love you, man.
Yeah,
And before you even say anything, I just want to clarify again. I didn't say no names. I just said the situation. Mike said the name. You know, if you're gonna get mad at Mike. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, the situation would never have arisen if you hadn't mentioned this nigga.
It's not my fault. I mean, he brought up bullying, so I just
called it.
So if so Mike is saying if you're gonna get mad at anybody, you should get mad at yourself. Basically, that's what he's saying, because you brought it up.
Oh shit! No, I mentioned
So
you,
he doing
sir.
No. I'm like I said, he brought up bullying.
Actually, I brought up bullying. So.
Right.
Oh yeah, so you can get mad at Mike. I'm mad at Mike. I mean, you already mad at him. I'm mad at him too. So you know.
What the fuck are you mad at me for? What I do to you,
The lasagna thing.
nigga? Why?
I ain't get none.
I bring you food all the time.
You didn't bring me that food.
There you go. What have you done for me lately?
Probably put like 2 years ago.
See, you know what, bro? And the thing is, I was thinking about bringing you food and shit, but I just slipped my mind.
That's okay, man.
And you gonna stop by my house on Sunday anyway? Mom grilling, so and I'ma have the food. I'ma have the baked beans. I'ma have the barbecue sauce and all that shit.
All right, man. We'll see.
Nigga said, "We'll see." No, it's a definite. Whenever there's a situation where we have a specific decision on what the hell we gonna eat,
and I think it is gonna be some macaroni and cheese there, because I think that's what it's about. It's the mac and cheese. Food,
Yeah.
right?
So-
That's fun. Yeah.
so you get the shit fresh.
All right, so the lasagna not fresh is what you're saying. All right, man. I'll leave it alone.
I hate you so much right now. Damn. It's all good, bro. But with that, it's been another Breaking the Narrative podcast, BTN for short. We had fun. I'm Tony.
I'm
Daddy.
Mark Anthony.
Hey, I'm second this time, man.
He's so sick at this time.
Hey, Daddy.
And I'm Mark Anthony.
And we're out of here.